It used to be like
a store.
Yeah, store.
It looked like a barn.
It was down there, I thought. Look at that sphere. Look at that sphere.
Ornament. That ornament. Yeah, it looked like a barn in there. It was crazy, and it had this like cedar thing. I guess
I don't remember what was right here, but I know that right there, that next to Walgreens.
Right.
Yeah, what was right here? Yeah,
this is where the big fountain was. See the round?
Yeah.
There's a big fountain here, and you put pennies in it, and people think to use it, and there was right. It was like a, and I'd be going in there with my arm.
She was only getting her commission.
Down here at the end across from Joanne's Fabric was also, they had a low wall that was tiled all the way around, and there was a fountain there, and you threw your pennies in. But it was very quiet, very peaceful. They had plants. Do you remember the blue boxes that people would sit on, and they had the big white sculpture? They had these huge boxes. They were probably like 12 feet, maybe longer, square. And they were like a big cube that you sat on. It was covered with blue carpet. And then these big abstract metal sculptures. I spent so much time here. My parents got divorced when I was 12, and so every weekend I was with my dad. I got to go with him. So we just went and wandered them all. Yeah, that's fine.
Wow.
Are you going to get us into the basement of Belk?
It's probably the coolers over here.
Originally did not, and then they had a.
Hey, hello. Sorry, guys.
We've been here for years. We don't know where anything is.
Oh, that's funny.
They had a restaurant in the basement.
So there's now it's
Randy?
I don't know. I haven't been in.
So what have we done so far?
We just came through Dillard's and made it to here, so you haven't missed much.
Okay.
No, it was there when in the 80s when I was working here. The restaurant was there because I remember one Christmas people picked up pies. So we started in what was Miller's, and we looked outside and we saw that there was a grocery store. How long have you all lived here?
Since 91.
91. So I don't know if you remember there was an A&P grocery store in the parking lot.
It was
Probably been, it's probably gone in the 90s.
What about the tire store?
When was it built?
This was built in 72.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so
that
it was
was
here.
20 years after it was built.
Yeah.
What we see now is pretty much
What
what
you
we
know.
remember about it, other than the Sears being gone.
This changes.
Sears
Yeah.
being gone.
So that was the Miller's department store. It was one of the first anchors, and it opened a year before the mall opened in 72.
Did that have anything to do with Miller's downtown?
It did. It was this, and so one of the points I was making is that a lot of stores came from downtown and other places and got into the mall. But Miller's was the first department store. We were just seeing it had a restaurant upstairs, and this was Profits. And Profits had a restaurant in the basement.
I don't think originally they did. I think originally it was just one level, and then I think sometime in the early 80s they added that. They opened up that area. I don't know what the shopping was. I just remember the restaurant was down there.
And this was Profits?
Yeah.
And it had a restaurant in the basement?
Yeah.
Was it a real restaurant or like a deli or what?
No, it was a real restaurant. Like you could sit down. It's like a cute little cafe, and it was decorated really bright. So even though it was in the basement, you didn't feel like you're in the basement.
And then tell them where the funding started from.
So the mall initially, let me read this. It was, I don't have to apologize to you guys now, but so the mall, the idea of the mall was announced in 1965. It was backed by the Chrysler Realty Corporation, which is a division of Chrysler Corporation. And we talked about how the reason a car company would be interested in this is because cars. I mean, the mall is built for you to drive up in your car. There were 4,000 parking spaces and 900,000 square feet initially. And I didn't get to say this, but there were 75 stores originally.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how many there are now, but we're going to talk about what was the original footprint.
And what kind of housing was around here in 72?
None.
It
Red
opened?
Ranch.
It's
Well,
all-
I mean, West Hills was developed in the late late 60s. So it's like ranch.
Wide open space.
Yeah, but mostly it was like the middle of a farmland. I was telling somebody the other day, it's interesting because when I was looking at the ads in the newspaper, there's some neighborhoods and they're advertising like near Westmont Mall, right? That's an obvious picture. But then there's like Pig Farm close to Westmont, you know what I mean? So it's really kind of like So the Miller's Profits, those are not national. Like, you know what I mean? These are like
locals.
Yeah. I think Profits was out of Maryland.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we had, where I grew up, a mall opened at almost exactly the same time in 72.
Yeah.
And it had Sears in it and what I'll call national brands more than local stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the little shops came and went throughout the year.
And that same here, this started, it had some locals in it, and it had some national chains, like Hickory Farms was a store. Walgreens. We just talked about
Was Sears an anchor store or no?
Sears was an anchor store, and so we'll get down there. But there was some local chains, and then there was like some local chains, like Paul Brown's a local company, MS McCall was a local company. But if we walk through Profit,
No, I got Profit, and then it was Duck. But there was also
so here is pictures. This is pictures from opening day, the opening day crowd, and there's like what the planners were. Like these things, these were like these planners, and then that one of them, like we were saying, was a fountain that people threw pennies in, and that's the old outside, and you can see the old logo.
Is that right outside of Baskin Robbins?
I think that's outside the original Baskin Robbins, which was on that.
On the Kingston Pike side.
On the Kingston Pike
Yeah,
side.
that's what I'm talking about. My grandmother fell right there in the parking lot. Oh my gosh. I just remember as a little kid, I mean, she was,
Were any of you here on opening day? Were any of you alive on opening day?
Rebecca, I was born in January of '72,
67, July 67.
so she might have been here on opening day, but
My parents were that excited. So.
yeah.
I was 6, so no, I wasn't here on opening day.
But I do remember coming here. I don't remember, Westtown's open, but I remember hearing, overhearing something that sounded exciting, among grown-up talk. So I'm sure there was.
And you grew up west
I
of
did
here?
on Cedar Bluff.
Okay, so that would have been a couple-mile trip in for you
Well,
guys?
we were used to coming out here anyway because we moved here in 1969. On Cedar Bluff Road, there was nothing but one gas station. So Mom had to drive over here to Suburban Center where Barnes and Noble and Trader Joe's is, but that was the nearest grocery store. So it was either IBA, Piggly Wiggly, or A&P. It switched.
And you said there was an A&P on this property?
A&P in the out parcel.
Yeah, we went down
Over on
Where
the,
Tesla, kind of where Tesla is now.
Oh, okay.
yeah, and there was also the Sears tire shop.
Yeah, well, that Sears is where Tesla is now.
She's talking about the original Sears tire shop.
Yeah, it was up on
Oh.
the front corner. Yeah, it was like an outdoor. And then we're on the top. This is this theater. If we walk through Profits, it would be over there. That is. Look at the super modern theater.
It was circular, yeah.
It was a circular theater. Yeah,
It was really, really big. Where was that?
right up there on the corner.
On the corner.
And I saw The Sound of Music and Cinderella, and I saw like 4 movies in my entire childhood. So those were 2 of them, and I feel like there was another big popular one.
That's Hall Brown. That's the entrance to Hall Brown.
And that was a local store?
That was a local store.
Yeah, and it was a really
Clothing?
nice clothing store. Yeah, men and women's Pendleton, the nicer, woolen brands and stuff.
So here's another, and there was a debate about where this was. I think it was down there, but here's the old record bar ad. Does everybody remember this weird guy standing on this? I remember this.
I don't remember that.
I remember him. That was their mascot.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I do. And then Kimball's was on this corner.
Yep.
It had to be
Orange Julius was on this corner, I think. Orange Julius was across from Walgreens. Walgreens was right up here.
And did those stores move from downtown out here also?
Walgreens moved from downtown, and then Walgreens moved out when that corner, the way that strategies change, right? And so, now we don't think of drugstores in downtowns, nor do we think of them at mall. We think of them as those corners.
Standalone.
Standalone.
Drive through your window to get your
drive-through windows. Yeah, so this is back from the drugstores with prominent malls. There was also a bank in the mall, and it was really fancy. They described this like special marble that we imported from the bank, and it was the Hamilton Bank. And I'm not sure where.
Oh, they were local.
It's like when you get
Hamilton Bank was local too.
And I don't
Hamilton-
remember the Hamilton Bank because I saw
They were local though.
Yeah, and they had 15 branches.
What kind of-
And Finbar Saunders worked at the Cumberland branch.
Did he
I
really?
have a picture of Finbar. I'll show it to you.
Was the mall always this size, or has it
No,
been
we're gonna.
added on to?
It's been added. So we'll go. We'll keep walking and we'll go look at the original plate, the original footprint. So, look, before I get too far afield, though, let me get back in my
We
notes.
didn't have the food court, and there's the whole, I don't know what's back here. Oh, the other belt thing that they've got now used to be a...
Oh, belt for men. The
Parisian.
belt. Yeah, Parisians. I remember Parisians.
Yeah, but that came in way later.
Yeah.
Was Montgomery Ward ever in here or no?
No, we had one in. We didn't know we had one on where the. We had one on.
Where the Expo Center?
Yeah. Because that's where they had grow animals. Yeah, they had grow animals. I wish they still had grow animals. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Make
yeah,
it
yeah,
so much
yeah.
easier for me.
Yeah, you'd have to. You mashed up your granimals.
Yeah. Okay, so Chrysler abandoned this thing in 1969, and this guy Ralph Beerbaum, he stepped in March 1970. He was a shopping center developer, and he's the one that pulled it off. Grading started in 1970. But the owners, the original owners, so the developer, they were backed by Chrysler, but the original owners of the land were Oliver Smith Jr., Dr. John L. Montgomery, and Miss P.A. McGinnis.
And Oliver Smith IV is still in real estate, and his son is the next generation.
And they had a law office in there.
Yeah, they had a law office right here at this entrance over here near Cheesecake Factory. As soon as you walked in, Oliver Smith attorney was right there on the right.
I did not. Yeah, it was
In the mall.
In the mall.
The clock and pipe shop was down that way in Merle Norman.
Merle Norman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a dress shop called Lily Rubin, which apparently was a big deal.
Yeah, I remember
And I
about
think Lily
Rubin.
Rubin was down there.
Yeah.
So we'll walk.